morning, R&R.
Good morning, R&R.
We are just ecstatic and glad to be a part of Refuge and Restoration.
R&R is a place of healing where God shows up.
With these wonderful pastors, these wonderful members.
I hope it blesses you as it always blesses the two of us. Enjoy.
Hear God so we can obey God, and in hearing and obeying, then we get to really see God. But the reality for us is not always easy. And empty myself of what I think I know or what I do know, but also what I want to do. If we would be honest with us, that can be challenging. That can be tough and hard to do. So there's another way to empty. But it ain't necessarily an easy way to get there. It's another way to get empty. And when you look at this story, what you see is they're in crisis. Jesus has just died. Because remember, they didn't really understand or even believe. They was already struggling with the concept. What they do is go back to what they know. We all do it. In crisis, you ever find that it's stuff that you thought you was free of, and when pressure comes, you realize, like cussing. I ain't looking at nobody. You ain't cussed in months, years, and somebody do something to you and put you in crisis, and you find yourself, a few curse words fly out. And you call it the devil, but really it was in your heart. It just, crisis will drive you back. Pray for me. Respond and go back to what you know or what you've been comfortable with. Kind of like, I'm going, I don't care what y'all, I'm going fishing. So they follow Peter. So everybody get in a boat. And this is the second time, because in Luke chapter 5, they went fishing and they didn't catch anything. So Peter go back to it. The crisis happens. They fish, and they fish all night. They don't know who he is. This is a resurrected Jesus, and he's there, and they're fishing, and he's watching them because they say it's morning time now. And so we don't know exactly when Jesus shows up, but we know he see that they ain't caught nothing. So it's an interesting question when he say, children, have you any meat? Because he know they don't have any. So what is he really after? What is Jesus after? Because they're fishing, they caught nothing, he sees it, and they're frustrated. And Jesus says, children, do you have any meat? Now I want you to highlight the word no. No, we don't have any meat. And this is what the Lord spoke to me. It's the acknowledgement of your failure that opens the door for a revelation of Jesus. As long as I'm confident in my fishing ability, your singing ability, how smart you are, whatever talent or gift you have, your trust. As long as I'm confident in that, talent and strength and connections and all of this, not working for you. He'll let you fail in your relationships so you can recognize that you couldn't fix it anyway. One of the areas that I really failed in, that I thought I was good in, was finances. I always thought I had a gift of making money. From when I was a young person, I was always sort of entrepreneur. I started me lived in Indiana, so it was really cold, a lot of snow, and I started me a little snow business. I had clients. I had a blog, I had a book, and I had people who shovel snow for me. Yeah, I had a team. I had people. We're going to do this house, and this house. And I sent them all out with their shovels. And I went and I shoveled me a house, and we did 6 houses, and they brought all the money back to me. So then I got a little wiser with money, and I thought I'd start investing. So I bought real estate, and I bought stocks. And I remember my sister-in-law said, "You on your way." I said, "Yeah, I am." because I know what I'm doing. Then the stock market crashed. And I had saved a good chunk of money, so I thought, oh, I'll survive it. And I remember, and I had started a business, and I was feeling real good about myself, and I was a young man, and I'm doing well, and I ain't made a dime. 12 months, and I'm thinking, surely this stock market thing, I'm confident that I can earn money. But not only am I not earning it now, I'm losing it. And I remember getting down to nothing. And I remember my brother asked me, he says, what have you done? Why? He said, you used to be good at this. What did you do? He said, did you do something to God? But what I learned is that I didn't do nothing to God. God was doing something to me. And in that crisis, in that situation, I had this total revelation of who he was. Because I went 24 months and didn't make 1 cent, but didn't miss one bill. In that time, not a light got cut off, no gas. We still went on vacation. I went to Disney World both of them years. But I didn't earn 1 dime. And I realized about money. What I had to conclude is that I really didn't know nothing. And not knowing nothing gave him the ability to do everything. So when I look at life and I look at what we stress over, because trust me, I was stressing out. I was wondering, how's this going to happen? And how is that going to happen? And there was some tight moments and we were praying through things, but God taught me that my dependency had to be on him and not on me. And we don't realize how much we depend on ourselves. We don't understand how confident we are in us and not in him. So, Peter forget y'all, I'm going fishing. So he go fishing, and here's Jesus, and Jesus is standing on the shore. And so it's failure, and I want y'all to get this, because don't be afraid to fail. You can attempt anything in life if you're not afraid to fail. Most of us won't try because we're scared. But it's failure that brought this revelation of Jesus with Peter and the fisherman. It's in failure, and he asked the question. He says, children, do you have any meat? That sounds like a familiar question. But it's in failure in acknowledging and recognizing that you ain't all of that. Some of us take a long time to recognize that we're not all of that. And so he'll stand on the shore and watch you all night. Because you still think that you're going to make it happen. You still trying to fish and you ain't caught nothing. You still trying to sit and you still and he going to watch you. So it's in the acknowledgement that you don't have the ability to turn it around, that you don't have the capacity to make it happen, that Jesus reveals himself and he says, cast on the right side of the boat and you're going to find, right? They cast, they have all these fish they catch. And John first, the one that says that loved and the lady in his bosom, they're talking about John. John says, that's Jesus. And Peter go, oh, I'm out. I'm going with Jesus. Now I want you to understand what has to happen when you get once you fail and you get a revelation of Jesus, then you got to be willing to forsake yourself or forsake yourself. And that's the problem, that if you're really going to see the miraculous supernatural power of God in your life, you're going to have to let go of what you thought you knew. So here are the men fishing. This is what they knew. And Peter immediately jumps out the boat. Now the boat represents the stability of what he understands. He's a fisherman. He need a boat. Peter's like, listen, I want you to understand what he forsakes and what he abandons. He's in this boat. He's got fishing equipment. He's got his fishing partners, and they have caught fish. They got a bunch of fish. And in this position, he makes a decision. Do I stay here with the fish or do I follow Jesus? See, the problem with us is God bless us, and you like, I'm good now. I don't need to do nothing no more. Somebody need to get this. Because your skill and your talent and your ability, and you done been through something and you done went through it. And so you got a boat, you got the equipment, you got your power, you got fish. Surely I'm staying here. But I want you to understand what happens. Peter jumps out the boat. He gets to the shore. Jesus already fish and bread. Young parents, y'all don't know. My sisters will tell you, look. You got 2 kids and they tearing your house down? We had 6 of them. Some of y'all families older than me, y'all had 13 and 14 kids, and guess what? They listen. Because you can't have 14 kids tearing the house up. You gonna learn. How much time I got? Okay. I didn't come to talk about kids, but that's relevant because most of us got them. So Jesus reveals himself. In order to follow him, you're going to have to forsake some things. You're going to have to accept the fact that you don't know what you're doing. And then Jesus, he'll feed you. He'll provide. He'll give you what you need. But this is the one that got me excited, and I was studying this. So in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, you don't have to go there. I'm going to just paraphrase. You can mark it. 2 Chronicles chapter 20, Jehoshaphat, King Jehoshaphat, he goes before God and prays because all of the Ammonites and all of the people who are enemies of Israel come together to destroy them. He has this wonderful prayer. And in this prayer, he goes before God. Now, I want you to understand that Jehoshaphat is a good king. He's been victorious. And now he's going, a lot of these people that he could have destroyed, he didn't destroy. And they decide that they want his stuff. And so they all get together and they band together and they're coming against him. And he has this prayer. And his prayer starts out by telling God how great God is. Then he gets to a point in the prayer and he says, God, it's too many of these folk. He says, and we can't stand against them. Then he says, and we don't know what to do. Right? And so the Spirit of the Lord falls on one of the members of the congregation. And he began to prophesy. And God speaks to him. He says, you're going to stand still and see the salvation of God. He says, you're going to stand. You ain't got to do nothing. You don't have to fight. And this blessed me because I'm a fighter, not physically. I used to be years ago, even though I ain't that big, but I'm from Gary. Everybody, you got to fight to live. And I'm serious. Every week we had to fight. It's just come home from school. You got to fight. It's just, you just accept it. You go you look at your brother. We walk home. We like, okay, you ready? I'm serious. That's how we grew up. We understood because we ain't running because Dad said we can't run. So no matter if it's 10 of y'all, 20 of y'all, we ready. I might have some rocks in my pocket. I might have a stick in the bushes, but I know I got a route to go because if they jump out, I'm going to whoop somebody. Yes, sir. Been delivered, y'all. So, but God said, stand still. You're going to see the salvation of God because you are not going to have, because many of us, you fighting for everything. Fighting family, fighting for your career, fighting for promotion, fighting for your finances. You're fighting, and you tired. You're fighting. You're getting up every morning, and we good fighters. You're fighting, and you exhausted me about 2 weeks ago. I mean, literally, we really are in meetings from as soon as we get up in the morning, we look at our calendar, and we're in meetings, and we leave house, and Ms. Gwen, we come back, and we see Ms. Gwen, and we speak to Ms. Gwen, and then we leave, and we got more meetings and more meetings. And man, and one day my wife said, I feel like we doing too much. So I was like, okay, what you want to do? And she was like, nothing. I said, okay. I said, well, let's see what nothing looks like. because we're having meetings and, you know, the stuff for a lot of the stuff revolves around what we're doing in the community and our project and all this other stuff. And, but she said to me, we just feel like we pushing too hard. Most of us, what we understand about succeeding, I mean, you got to go get this thing, right? You're going to go get it. But what God wants you to know this morning, that he want to go get it. I want you to get the difference. He tells Jehoshaphat in them, you don't have to fight. Jehoshaphat in them. That's right, I said it. Stand still. Because I'm getting ready to do something. And I want you to watch me do it. Stand still. Some of y'all need to let go. Some of y'all fighting and you finna go in Monday and you getting ready to talk to somebody and you, cause they ain't done you right and you got your plan and you, stand still. Stand still. He says, you ain't gonna have to fight these people. Matter of fact, the instructions, and y'all read this when you get a chance, read the whole chapter. 2 Chronicles chapter 20. He told them that y'all just gonna go down here and praise while you watch them. When you praise, and what he did, he confused them and they fought each other, killed each other. And then what happened is they got to go collect all the spoils. That mean the gold, all the silver, everything that was theirs, they got to go collect it. So not only did he fight for them, he blessed them. All the stuff that belonged to them, he gave. When God is fighting your battles, all you got to do is praise him. Listen, we come here and y'all have a hard time sometimes praising God and worshiping God because you fighting and you tired. See, but the story here and what God is teaching us is that if you really forsake, quit fighting, quit trying to do everything, quit having a master plan, quit thinking you know how. That I'm going to feed you and I'm going to fight for you. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody going to feed me and fight for me and all I got to do is watch it. Look, he said, come and dine. I told you he had the fish, the hot sauce, the onions, the bread. And then if anybody came around, he like, what you want? I'm going to sit. This is what he mean in Psalms 23, that he prepare a table before your enemies, that you're going to get to sit down in the midst of folk that don't like you. You'll get to sit down in the midst of people that don't want to help you. You'll get to sit down in the midst of people that don't believe in you. And what God going to do is feed you and fight them. And so you can go and execute and accomplish the thing that God has put in your heart. You ain't got to go kill yourself. You ain't got to explain nothing to nobody. In praise. Just shout and reckon all God wants is glory. All he wanted some people that's going to acknowledge that he's Lord. See, he got excited when John said, oh, that's the Lord. And the rest of them, even when they got there and the food is prepared, it says they would not say anything because they didn't want to be in there like, is that really him? They was like, I'm going to keep this one too, because all the fish got in that net. Got to be Jesus, because remember, he's a resurrected Jesus now. So his appearance is different. But John, whom he loved, he go, oh yeah, that's Jesus. And Peter, what I like about Peter, that's all he needed. It don't even say if Peter really recognized it was Jesus. He just figured if John recognized it and all these fish in the net, that's good enough for me. See, some of y'all looking for something else. See, Peter understands John's relationship with Jesus. And he's saying if John says Jesus and I'm cool with John, then surely they got to be Jesus. But the blessing is all the disciples, even the ones who had a little doubt in their heart, they got to eat too. This ain't even part of my message, but it is now. See, listen, your connections, who you following, who you with, who you in partnership with, may bring you to a table that was prepared for them, and you get to show up and eat too. See, the table might be prepared for somebody else, but because of your relationship, because you in cell group with them, because you in church with them, because you in relationship with them, you get to come to a table and tell, look, and that person, the name of the disciples they ain't mentioned, they ain't done nothing. It's okay to be that person in the boat dragging the net, long as you get to the table. You worried about your name being in lights and them recognizing you. I don't care if they know my name. I'm at the table, baby. I ain't worried about whether or not you acknowledge me. I'm eating fish that's been cooked and prepared by Jesus. What you eating? What table you sitting at? Why you telling me what I can't do? Oh, I saw Moses Harriet told me last night. What you telling me I can't do? Table already been prepared. I love it when you walk in and they, why? I don't know, but I'm here. Why they got your name on the seat? That's my seat. I don't know how many times I've been in places my wife and I look at us like, see that baby? No. God is doing something. We're in a time where ain't no loyalty. Everybody ain't doing their own thing. Everybody think they better than the next person. Even if you're succeeding at something, I can do it better than you. You probably can do it better than me. Matter of fact, I'm sure you would do it better than me, but you ain't doing it better than Jesus. See, if I'm really forsaking all and following him, if I'm really empty, what you see happening in my life ain't about me. What you see happening is not my ideal. What you see happening is not by my power or by might. It's by his spirit. See, when somebody has really emptied themselves and forsaken all, don't get mad at them. Don't be jealous, because you could be at the table too. See, the thing is, you got to understand is you don't own the table. You just a guest at the table. You should be excited that you at the table, because you understand that you shouldn't be at the table. You understand you don't deserve to be at the table. You understand I didn't do anything great to be here at the table. But it's a God on my side who says, stand still. I know you messed up. I know you didn't do it all right. I know you ain't smart enough. I know you really didn't want to throw the net on the other side. I know what's in your heart. I know you didn't really want to do it that way. But since you did it anyhow, since you had a nevertheless attitude like Peter, since you decided that you're going to forsake it, look, God ain't judging the way you forsake. He's not looking at you, because remember the parable with the son that says, I ain't going, but he went. And the other son that said, I'm going, but didn't go. He said, which one of them are justified? Some of y'all need to ease up. Just see what the fruit is. But Jesus is not looking at you going, they really didn't want to do it. What he you obedient or not? Y'all stay.